gonna put this away and sit closer.
So today I am joined by Marlene Guy. She is a knitter and a brand new designer, and I'm very excited that she has actually designed her her hat in our yarn, and we're going to actually be offering a kit for this hat. But first of all, we're going to kind of talk about your journey to where you are now. So how'd you get into knitting?
I was probably about 10 years old. I grew up in South Dakota, and it had a really cold winter, a blizzard, and my mom taught me how to knit. But it wasn't really until the beginning of the pandemic that I really started knitting. Prior to that, I did a few hats, scarves, and maybe a sweater, blankets. But I would always look at a pattern that had any kind of color work and say, oh, I couldn't do that. That's too hard. But I gained some confidence and did a few mystery knit-alongs, got on a couple of Facebook groups where there's lots of help out there. And I was able to really start to want to do my venture away from the typical pattern and put my own little flair on things. And then pretty soon, before I knew it, I was designing my own hat from scratch.
Wow, that's quite a leap from scarves and hats as a child. Your mom taught you how to knit. She pretty crafty?
Yes, she more quilts and does a little crochet. Doesn't so much knit anymore, but she loves to sew. And she was nice enough to volunteer to sew project bags for the kit that we're going to put together.
So thank you, Linda.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of your inspiration. Who's your favorite designer out there?
My favorite designer is Casa Pinka. I actually met her on, her name is Bronwyn, I don't know her last name, but she goes by Casa Pinka. She's pretty famous in the fiber community. I went on a cruise in November and I got to meet her, and just a lovely human being, just wonderful. And she was the main one who taught me that it's okay to make mistakes, and nothing has to be perfect. No one's going to see it, but the person who actually made it, if they're up that close to you, then they must love you already anyway, if they're going to see your mistakes. So, and just gave me the desire and the confidence to just venture out and kind of do my own thing. And it helped me grow as a knitter.
So what is your favorite technique?
Right now, it changes as I go. Right now, my favorite is color work.
Okay.
I learned a little bit of intarsia, but I really like the stranded color work because I don't want to mess around with the little wraps of yarn and that sort of thing. But
I've never tried intarsia. It scares me.
I did a little bit of intarsia on the cruise.
Cruise, wait. Cruise?
Yeah, it was a cruise with Casa Pinka.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And learned how to knit socks on that. So right now socks and color work is my thing.
Okay. So I see you brought your hat.
Mm-hmm. This is the hat that's going to be included in the kit. The pattern will be in there with everything that you need. The 2 skeins of Laura's beautiful yarn, and this one
It's Polo and Applegate.
Polo is the blue color, and Applegate is your kind of Granny Smith apple. In DK weight, and I used a size 6 US size 6 needle, circular needle. And
what sort of techniques are in here besides? I see all sorts of, I see the stranded work, but I see some like texture too.
Okay, So, my inspiration for this particular
Oh,
pattern
let me share that
is,
real quick.
is my dog. So we're going to show you a picture of him. This is Peyton. He's my best friend and just an all-around great guy. So the inspiration, he was the inspiration for all of the little pieces of this hat.
Now, there's actually a part of that hat that the inspiration that you brought with you.
Oh, yes, yes. We'll get to that in a minute.
Okay.
But first, the corrugated ribbon here is his backyard fence. He's got a wooden fence in the backyard to keep him safe. Then, of course, here's his paw prints. The bubbles here are his kibble. And this dog has this bone. And this bone is so chewed up. We put these little rawhide rings on it, and he's just crazy about those things. So I had to include little bones on his hat, on the hat.
Now, you did find that there's something that went a little awry with the
Yeah, I
pattern.
didn't really think about placement of things when I cinched up the hat.
You lose the top. Oh, you lose
You kind of lose the
top of the bone.
The
It becomes
bone-
something else.
is not a bone by itself. Maybe it has an ER at the end. I don't know what else to say. So what I did was, it was funny, and some people gravitate toward that thing because they have a sense of humor that's like that. So I decided not to tear it out. I decided that I would instead make two hats. So the next hat I have designed has the bones going horizontally, and the top will be just the blue part.
Okay, so you designed this so you can get two separate hats out of the
Yes,
skeins of
two
yarn,
skeins.
and you're going to include both versions of the hat in the
Yes.
pattern. Okay.
So it's knitting around, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. When you
I
said
think it's knitted from bottom to crown, and then it's
And
shaped
you
and
just, you
cinched.
cinch it up. And I would suggest that when you, if you do purchase the kit, when you do the pattern, if you want to have a pom-pom, and we'll get into that in a minute too, don't cinch it up too tight, because we're going to put a little hair tie on the pom-pom. So you're going to make your own pom-pom. That everything that's going to be in the kit will be everything that you need to make the pom-pom from scratch.
And excuse me, sorry about that. You could purchase the pom-poms. I think you can make these pom-poms with 5 minutes of effort, and maybe at what, at 10% of the cost of buying them already made.
Right. And if you make a lot of hats for gifts and that sort of thing, you can maybe at Joann's or Michael's have a coupon and get a few yards of the faux fur fabric and make a whole lot of pom-poms.
You're gonna show us how to make that today, right?
Correct.
What I'm gonna kind of scoot over. I'm gonna let Marlene kind of take center stage, and she's gonna show us how to make these pom-poms real quick. And like I said, if anybody has any questions about what she's doing or the technique that she's using, or if you want to see it up closer, let us know and we can accommodate you. We just have an audience of 2, so this is nice and intimate. You can ask them any questions as you want. We'll have plenty of time to answer. Okay, so I'm just going to step to the side and give her a little bit more room.
Okay, so in the kit, if you choose to purchase it, you'll get a square of your faux fur. And
Is that almost enough to make?
not quite.
Not quite.
So it might be smaller than this. This was just a rough cut. So what I did was just took a saucer from my Corel.
Yes, like
Yeah. I think so.
So you want
About
7
6
inches.
about 6-inch circle.
You want to get-
So let's see. So what I did was just I just traced around my plate. Then when you're cutting, just make sure that Let me lay this out here. This one I already cut it out. Go with just the tip of the scissors and just carefully. I don't know, is that a little bit better?
But then you can just do that.
Okay, and you just use the tip and just gently, you only want to cut the fabric and not all the way through the fur. So you don't want to just with the whole scissors, but just the tip and just barely cut the fabric, and the fur should stay. I don't know if you can see.
Here, hold it up close. The cut edge is just the fabric.
And the fur
kind of-
sticks out.
and the fur is attached to the fabric, so you don't need to be cutting the fur too.
These fur pom-poms are the latest thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so then after you got your circle of your fur, your faux fur, we'll give you the little curved needle along with it in the kit and the thread, so you'll have that if you need it too.
Is this special thread?
It's a nylon thread. It's I used like a kind of a thicker upholstery thread, so it's pretty strong.
And it's doubled.
Yes, I doubled it. Put a knot in, started it. I started it already just for time purposes. And probably about, what is that, about a ½ inch?
Yeah, I would say within a half inch of the edge.
You can go a quarter if you wanted to. It looks like I have about a half. And then just make a little basting stitch there. I'm not the sewer in the family. Like I said, my mom is the one, and Laura will show you the bags in a minute here.
What we're gonna do is
Right,
Yeah,
so it's just
together.
this little, what do you call that?
it's a running stitch.
Running stitch, there you go. Okay, and what's that? And as you go, you might want to go halfway around and start gathering. That might be easier.
And yes, mhm.
Oops, I'm pulling it the wrong way. Okay.
Oh, there you go. And it gathers into a nice little ball.
I think I got it.
You can sew it.
And then we'll give you the stuffing.
See, so in this kit, you'll get everything you need to make the pom-pom, and you'll have enough yarn to make 2 halves, plus the fabric.
But just one pom-pom. One faux fur for, that way I'm gonna show you in a minute how you can remove the pom-pom off the hat.
You need to make it interchangeable to the other hats. Oh, sorry. That was my phone. Mute is a good thing. Okay.
Oh, and then one other thing I was gonna say, with any leftover, if you don't want to if you want to make it fluffier and not use the polyfill, you don't want to just throw this away if you're thinking frugally. You can do what I did and cut up little pieces of what's your leftover and stuff it into, this is what's in this. There's no polyfill, it's just the leftovers from the square. Okay, so I stuffed it with, this one I stuffed with the polyfill. I'll let you do that part. So the next thing that I do, and all this, we'll have instructions and possibly a video link for a YouTube video on the pom-pom making, since it was a new skill for me. So it may be something you've already done. So on this little hair tie that I used, you can see where they have the join. And what I'm going to do is just tie a knot in that part where the join is, and it serves 2 purposes. It makes it a little bit stronger so it doesn't rip apart. And it also will give me a little bit of structure so that when I put the needle through it, it has something to hold on to.
You want me to knot this?
Yeah. But just enough so I can poke this through. Yeah, oh, that's plenty. My hands are shaking. I must be nervous.
Look at all the urine in the background.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, so then you kind of shove the hair tie in there, and what you're going to do, I'm not going to do this all in because it'll take too long, but you're just going to take this curved needle and go in one side and through the other, and just try to catch the knot that you made in the hair tie along with the other side, and then just kind of alternate back and forth around to further cinch up that pom-pom. And as you're going, you want to, make it nice and tight so that you get it as round as you can. And then eventually what you have is, this one has a bigger hair tie, but you're going to get a smaller one so it's easier to push through your hat. So eventually you'll have this, and you just kind of shake it out to get it fluffed up a little bit. So then how we get it onto the hat, like I said, did I say that already? When you cinch up the hat, don't cinch it up so tight that you can't get the hair tie through it. You want to be able to I'll show you how that works.
I think she's gonna put a button on the inside.
Mhm.
Oh, it's right there. Okay. So we use a crochet hook, and I stick it through the hole at the top where you cinched, and you put the hair tie on, and you pull it through. Okay. Now, get up closer so you can see.
Here, I'm gonna bring.
You'll have, we're going to give you a little button that goes with the kit also. And you put the hair tie through one side of the button. And the other side, oops. Yeah, hold the hat for me. In the hole. And I found these little buttons on Etsy. A really nice person put a whole package of it together for me. Yeah, and then you put it around the button. So your button isn't sewed on. You remove the button, you remove the pom-pom. You can use that button for another hat, for another pom-pom, however you want to do it. So. So that's basically what's, you get the pattern, the 2 skeins of yarn, and
I didn't know.
the fabric for the pom-pom, the needle, the thread, the polyfill, what else? The project bag.
So this is a real family effort between Marlene and her mom. Her mother constructed these pet-centric
Eating bones
project
again.
bags, fully lined. In fact, they are reversible. And they each have a matching or quasi-matching little notions bag that goes with it.
And depending on how many of these little crochet hooks, you might get one in your bag as well when you place your order.
We're throwing a lot of freebies in. This is going to be our kit, our spa kit that we were having, that we're going to offer exclusively to the spa members at the event this weekend. So we're doing it through the internet. See, here's another.
And the most important thing about this kit is that a portion of the proceeds is going to go to a local
Local pet rescue.
So it's all about the animals.
And then for your Dalmatian or firefighter fans, there's all sorts of fabrics. I just brought out 3 examples that I thought were the cutest. There are some fabrics with some cats on them. Mr. Tony and Miss Suzanne are cat people. So if you were to purchase one of the kits, I would go ahead and make sure you got one with cats on it. Otherwise, it's going to be rather random as to what bag goes into the kit. Now, to make things even more confusing. Oh, she left. Okay. Not confusing, but to give you even more choices is we have put together 7 different color combinations for the kit, because I have 7 of the Dizzy Blonde, the puppies. And if you attended last night, you got to meet the dogs and got to see the yarns that they inspired. So we paired those up with a high contrast yarn to go with them, so that there's 7 possible combinations. And I'm going to go ahead and show each of those now. And these are going to be done on a pre-order basis, so that we can go ahead and dye the yarn up per order and make sure everybody gets exactly what they want. So really quickly, the color combinations, and I will show these color combinations on, whoops, Scriggles is in here.
I'm sorry, baby. I didn't mean to step on you.
So here is the original one that the hat is done in. This is Polo and Applegate.
And those 2 colors just pop on this.
That's that, yeah.
It turned out really nice.
It's okay, Scraggles. Okay, so the next combination is Evie and Goldie.
Hmm.
Again, we're going with the high contrast. And what I was thinking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do one hat with, say, the polo as the main color and Applegate as the accent color, and then the other hat I'm going to switch it. So then I have 2 completely different hats with the 2 same skeins of yarn. One will have the bones going up, and the others will have the bones going around the side, because I have that sort of sense of humor. The next combination is Kira and Mirren. Kira is the pink. She's my little bubblegum girl. And I figured this Mirren, it looks very, very springtime blossomy kind of bouquet together. It's not quite as high contrast, but it is still vividly appealing to the eye.
It's looking at my feet. Sorry.
And then we have paired May with Debbie. This kind of reminds me of a bed of maybe hibiscus in the rain. And then we got a colorway for the Broncos fans. We have Scraggles, which is sort of like periwinkle, and then we have Dolly, which is like a tiger lily orange.
Like the orange.
One is Shotzi, which is the red and black. We paired her with Marie, which is a nice sunny yellow. Again, for high contrast. And last but not least is Trixie, our original blonde. And we paired her with Reese, which is a nice kind of fleshy peach and apricot color. So in these kits, you'll be able to select which yarn combination you want. And then, like I said, we're going to do this on a pre-order basis. once we get enough orders, we're going to go ahead and run the whole yarn, and then we'll ship from there. And that's basically our Neva Spa kit. Am I missing anything? You'll get the pattern, the materials for your pom-pom, your project bag, the notions bag, and then all the little accoutrement that comes, you know, the needles and perhaps the crochet hook, the button, everything you need to make that pom-pom. So,
Oh, you didn't say price though.
oh. Okay, so this kit, we're selling it for, it's a $68 value. We're going to sell it for $55, and $5 of that goes toward the rescue. So $5 of every sale goes toward the rescue. $50 covers just the materials and the pattern. And actually, I believe
You're getting a little bit of a deal there.
Yeah.
When you include everything.
so. Any questions? Do we have any questions for Marlene about her? We didn't go too deep into your past and everything, but it was more about talking about the actual pattern and not the designer. Now let's circle back to that. You live here in
Oh, right
Florida.
now, yes. In Florida. And I'm very happy.
But she's my cousin. So
Yeah, we've known each other for
50,
over 50 years.
yeah,
I'm
we're
not gonna
three,
say exactly.
we're 3 months apart
Yeah.
in age. But yeah, her mom is my Aunt Linda. But you've been living here, you're former military, so you're a
Yes.
veteran. You're here in Florida as well. You have children.
I have one son. He was living in Madrid, Spain.
Her voice isn't coming through well. She needs to step closer to you.
Okay. How's,
I have one son. He's grown.
That's better.
He
Thank you.
he was living in Madrid, Spain, and he moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan. He's getting his, I think right now he's still in his master's program, but his goal is his PhD at University of Michigan.
and you have a day job too, right?
I have a day job. I work for the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm a registered dietitian in the home care program, and we assist homebound veterans that can't make it to the clinic. It's a very rewarding job.
Yeah. Very, very selfless job too.
Sometimes.
Yeah. We do have almost a half hour. It's just the three of us. Would anyone like to see any of the Dizzy Blonde yarns up close? I know Tony and Suzanne, you got to see all the puppy yarns last night.
Right.
Sort of color grouping that anybody would like to look at, any sort of weight or fiber content?
Nancy says, yes, please.
Yes, please. What would you like to see, Miss Nancy?
Nancy said yes. She's typing. She's
Okay.
using.
I think
I was not there yesterday, so anything you wanted to show, I love your yarns. I'd love to see them. Thank you.
Okay, so
Do it.
I showed you 14 colorways here. So
Yeah,
the ones in the back are all the ones that were inspired by the dogs. They're being naughty because I have a guest and they don't know how to behave around the guest. So they're in the house. I have Scraggles. I can introduce you to Scraggles and show you. You kind of see her walking across the floor here. Maybe just looking for anything that got dropped on the floor to eat. So this is Scraggles. This is my first foster fail rescue.
so cute.
Yeah,
Do
she's
you have the original
yeah. I'm recording. I can't
photo?
get to it, but original photo, she had no hair. She had maybe about 20% of her hair. The rest of her was skin and stinky, yellow, flaky yuck. And we nursed her back to health. And after that, I couldn't let her go. I just couldn't. So we found out we test drive dogs. We don't actually foster dogs, but this is her colorway here. So this is the Scraggles colorway.
Beautiful.
And it's periwinkles, and there's, you know, it shifts to the blue side and then it shifts over to the purple side, but it kind of stays well in a single tone. I was inspired for this by a picture of an iceberg and the different colors of blues and purples in the iceberg. So she's my little snow queen, my little precious snowflake angel, when that wasn't a bad term. She's just the sweetest, most precious dog. She's a service dog. She is my service dog. And she was trained as a therapy dog in California. She was certified. She would go to the nursing homes. We would visit those residents that didn't get visited very much at all. So she would bring a little joy to their life. And she's a very calming effect. So this is my Mamie. No, I'm sorry, this is my Scraggles. Getting my dogs mixed up. Okay, baby, can you go somewhere where we won't step on you? Okay. So are you familiar with my MCN line, my Merino Cashmere Nylon, the Doctor Who inspired
No.
video collection? Oh, wow. Okay. I don't want to make people dizzy and it's messy over there. Let me pull some skeins. What color wheelhouse do you guys like?
I often gravitate towards greens and blues, but I'm open to lots of colors.
Okay, let me pop some out over here. Do you want to hold these down real quick? I will start with the greens and blues and then we can move our way. So this is called the Odd Sock. And like I said, this is Doctor Who inspired, if you're familiar at all with the series. So this is
Yeah.
Timey-wimey.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
This is TARDIS blue, is what I call it. And then this is a relatively newer colorway. This is called the Face. It is inspired by Dr. Jack Harkness, his handsomeness himself. And this was inspired by his RAF uniform from the episodes when they're in like World War II era England.
Did you say this was soft yarn?
Yes, it's merino cashmere nylon. It is a true sock weight. We got about 435 yards per 100 gram skein.
Okay.
Why
Closer.
is that exactly the same color as your two shirts?
Actually,
I mean, that's what it looks like on our screen.
Because turquoise is my signature color. I love turquoise. But yeah, this actually kind of shifts a little bit. You got, it's hard because the lighting is not true like it was last night, but this is more of a greenish blue. And this is more of a sky blue. So you have a slight variation in the blues here. It's just not coming across very well on camera.
this is where
You can look at the other screen too, Susan.
Yeah.
You get a little different color.
But this one's called Delete. It's inspired by the Cybermen's weapon. Again, crazy geek person here.
I have no idea what she's talking about.
Do you know her name?
No.
No.
Don't-
Now this green is like a bottle green.
I like that.
It's called The Impossible Girl. The inspiration was taken from a Victorian gown that one of the characters wore in a couple of the episodes. And my last green is brand new. It is it's looking yellow here, but it's a neon green. It's like cross between like grasshopper green and kiwi. It's called
Chartreuse
Stormageddon.
green.
Yeah, it's pretty chartreuse. It's called Stormageddon. Stormageddon was a baby. And you can just guess where the color came from. So those are my greens and blues in the odd stock. And then some of my blues kind of branch out into purples. Let me grab those next. Oh, I think they're just purple.
I love it.
So they look pretty similar, but there's a little bit difference in each of them. This one is like a violet and dark gray. This one is a Lancy. This was inspired by a pinstripe suit of the 10th Doctor.
Oh, this is-
Hmm?
I like that one.
And then this one is more violet and purple.
And I can see the violets in it.
Mhm.
And this is inspired by the character Missy.
Yeah.
It's called Frenemy Mine. And last is Forget Me Not. And here we have like iris and violet. So this is very flowery.
Yeah.
You get a pop of lilac in here too.
Could you show the first of those again?
Alansi. You can look closer. Yeah, there's gray. There's a little bit of
Are you getting the name?
No,
Oh, okay.
here, let me show you.
website, fine. Alonzi.
I wanna see.
Okay.
Okay. You're showing Tony, but that's okay.
Yeah.
That's all
'Cause
right.
I
She
can't
see
read it.
Yeah,
Oh.
I can see.
I'm gonna ask a really dumb question.
No, there's no dumb question. Go right ahead.
I don't know your brand.
My brand is Dizzy Blonde Studios.
Dizzy Blonde, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know that.
I missed that. Okay.
Usually I start out by saying, welcome to Dizzy Blonde Studios, but I didn't this time, and I apologize because that is confusing. I'm gonna go ahead and, because Nancy wasn't here last night, here is the coupon code. This is good for 15% off your entire spa order, plus free shipping.
Thank
Writing
you.
it down.
Yeah,
I offer a personal shopping experience, which is you and me over a Zoom. It could be 30 minutes, it could be 60 minutes, where I bring just as I did right now, I bring the yarn to you to the screen. We can compare, we can put yarns together if you're working on something with color. If you see something that you're interested in, but you want to kind of just see it up close and not just a picture on a web page. And it helps me put a face to my customers. It helps me connect with my customers. So one thing that we miss during these trying times with the COVID is that personal connection. So if you want to just get a picture of that QR code, it'll take you right to where you.
I'm very slow on QR codes.
Okay.
We go to the website.
Oh, Alonzi was the name?
Yeah, I got
Got
that.
that. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, if you want to just go through the Nether Spa guide, my webpage is on that guide, and you can click through,
Right.
and you can get to it that way as well.
So where do you get the wool from?
I get it from several different mills. My signature line, which these are in the 2 weights. I have a sock, I have a light fingering, and then I have this DK weight. That comes from a mill called Henry's Attic. It's in upstate New York. My Lammy Toes line, which I haven't brought out because I had to block it off because Polo thinks that they're toys. He thinks that they're stuffies and he wants to play with them. That's a Corriedale nylon sock yarn. And I'll bring some out shortly. That comes from Oregon, Ashland Bay. And then my MCN is actually from, I believe they're based in England, but I think they source in China, to be honest with you. China and Australia is where this comes from. The merino cashmere nylon. I think it's milled in China, but the sheep are in Australia. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me go ahead and bring out some of those, the Corriedale nylon. Give me just one moment.
Nancy's got.
You might rather buy an American wool than a
Yeah.
China one.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see.
I don't think she does any worsted weight.
I'll bring out some greens and blues from this side. And if you want to see other color palettes, I can bring those too. Here is blue and green together
Mhm.
in a single skein.
Mm,
This reminds me of the beaches around here with the palm trees and the water.
Mm.
This is called Done the Impossible. This line is actually inspired by Firefly Serenity franchise. Again, super nerd here. And I understand if people don't tend to be as nerdy as I, but this was actually inspired by a special effect showing a planet from space, and the planet was Miranda. And these are the colors that really is a beautiful planet.
Mhm.
So this is Done the Impossible. And this green is more of an herby green. It's not quite as yellow as it's showing on the screen. It's a little greener than what's showing up. But then you have the turquoise again. I love my turquoise. The next one is mainly herby green, and this is called Thrilling Heroics. You got a cool country green, and then you have an herb green in this.
It looks better on the other screen, Suze.
Okay.
It might be more real.
Next we have I Aim to Misbehave. And that is like a nautical blue and a nice, beautiful grape. Like a steel gray. So Nancy, am I enticing you at all? Did you want me to bring out some more lammy toes? You want to see the light fingering so
Do you do any?
they're the
Do
same
you do?
colors.
Do you do any worsted weights?
The lightest I go right now is DK. I can get worsted and I can do custom. If you see any colors here that you want on a worsted weight yarn, I'll be glad to do that for you.
Okay. Was that?
And
Well, my heel hook just hooked my finger. Took it out.
oh,
The first time that's ever happened.
so here's another one, blues and greens together. This is Trixie. This is the colorway. My very first Dizzy Blonde, actually she picked the colors herself. I put paint chips on the ground. We were busy decorating, put paint chips and fabric samples on the ground. And the first three she went to were the ones that I said I was gonna put on skein. Next time I'm gonna put like
I gotta go.
butter or a piece of bacon on the colors that kind of go together, because this is a wild colorway. But it works in color work, but when you're going to be using like a solid or semi-solid kind of a neutral color, they pop off each other. And any Martina Bem shawl works great in this as well. So, more lammy toes. Would you like to see what that colorway looks like in a light fingering? It's a 560 yards is the light fingering.
Sure, great, thank you.
And you want to still stick in the greens and blues, or you want me to venture out?
I think you should venture where you want to go. I'm really enjoying seeing your products. They're beautiful.
I'd be pulling it all out. It's like it'd be piled up to here. Okay, give me just 1 second.
All right.
with the blockade here. So I'll pull some colors that aren't out there. And show you that I can do a different blue than the one I'm wearing too. I'm just gonna bring this polo up because this polo's pretty. So I brought some colors in the light fingering that are not up here, except for this one. This is polo. So this is what the hat's made of, but this is in the light fingering. And it reskeined blocky, so you see you got the greens here, purples, and down here you're seeing the blues and the blacks in here. That has all the colors. And this one is called Charo. It is black and green.
Someone you liked last night, maybe. No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. They're all nice.
And then this colorway is Anna. This is more of your cooler greens. And these are 560 yards. It's 100% superwash merino, but there's no nylon in it. So I recommend people do things like shawls or cowls, scarves. If you want a lightweight, like wrister or fingerless mitt, or even like opera length mitt, this will do that. Socks, you're going to have to hold with some nylon around the heels and the toes, because otherwise it's going to wear through on these. Whereas with the cashmere and also with the lammy toes, this nylon in here, this is a strong yarn. These are wonderful shawl yarns though. And I have Scraggles under the table telling me she's hungry and it's not even time yet. Demanding little thing. Okay, this is Veronica, inspired by Veronica Lake. She was that wonderful film noir star. I swear that's not my stomach, that's my dog. And this is Jennifer. This is a new line of solids that I've incorporated. I have 9 different solids. And when you get hand dyed, you get solids with highs and lows. So you get some light bits and then you get some dark bits. And this was inspired by Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique. I tried to match the blue of her skin. And here's a good example of the dark, the low bits. And I'm looking at the table to see why she's growling at you.
Why? Because I stepped on her.
No, she's growling because I think she wants your attention.
Oh.
It'd be nice if you could get it up in.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
All right, now we're going to venture into the hot stuff, the reds and purples. This is Camilla. And these are the berries. So we have cranberry and then we have boysenberry.
It's purples and blues.
Mm-hmm. But it's not something I can work with. Too light.
Are these all too light for you?
Yeah,
Okay,
too light,
too lightweight.
weight, yeah.
Any of these
Gorgeous.
colors I can put on worsted for you, Suzanne. I'll
Yep.
do that. Okay. When you have a chance, let's maybe book a personal shopping experience, and we can go through colors and I can do exactly what you want done. Okay, she may have to go outside. Okay, so this is Melanie. This is just all berries. We got mulberry, cranberry, boysenberry in here. I'm going to spread it on toast.
That's in 7.
And we're venturing a little bit further into the reds. This is Paris. So we got some fiery, and then we have some true crimson in here. And then here's Marilyn. Here's our candle in the flame. This is one of my favorite brick reds to work with. In fact, I'm going to show you how it looks knit up in just a second. I'll let Marlene do that because she's the one who knit these colors together. But and I have we could stay here for another 2 hours while I show you all these yarns. Nancy, it would be great if you want to see more, I'd love to do that personal shopping experience with you. And I can either just schedule it right here and send you a Zoom link through your email. And I can do that for you as well, Suzanne. I'm available all weekend. So if you want to do that, because we only have about 2 more minutes and I have prize drawings to do. And I think we have a 50-50 chance that one of you is going to win the prize. The prize is going to actually be dyed live tomorrow in my event, A Good Day to Dye. So if you want to see, whoever wins this, want to see how your yarn is going to turn out. And actually, you're going to have some input into one of the dyeing techniques. You guys are going to be the ones choosing the colors that I put on. So let me go ahead. I'm going to stop the recording right now because it won't let me. Actually, you know what? No, I can do it this way. Yep, there we go. I'm going to type your names in here.
This was the spin. Yeah,
Actually, it's a 33% chance.
we got 2.
There you go. And it would be nice if I spelled Nancy's name right, wouldn't it? All right, so we're going to go ahead and spin this.
We got 2. I don't feel right about that.
Huh?
We
Yeah,
got 2
JJ.
or 3 chances. I think you're gonna get it, Suzanne.
And look at that, Suzanne. You are the winner.
Great. Maybe I'll get a pair of socks out of it.
I'm gonna go ahead and stop the sharing. There we go. And I'm going to stop the recording now. And so I can get your email address. That's not something I want to broadcast to the world.
Right.
Right.
And Nancy, did you want to check and see when you're available for just a one-on-one with me?
Sure, what I'll do is put my email right in the chat and you can just
Okay, let me